What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video, and as always, there's plenty of big news in the wrestling world as we look at a huge superstar signing a new deal with WWE, a female superstar involved in an incident backstage during Summerslam, Lars Sullivan's expected return, rumored Clash of Champions main event, Brock Lesnar move being confirmed to Smackdown, WWE Evolution 2.0, and is WWE censoring The Fiend? Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, but let's get straight into it, as the big dog Roman Reigns signs a new deal with WWE. Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin is reporting that Roman Reigns will be in the WWE for some time to come. Satin reported, according to sources, Reigns signed on the dotted line last month for a deal that will keep him with the WWE for at least a few more years, though the exact length is unclear. You may recall Roman Reigns stating he'd like to jump to Hollywood in about 5 years, and at 34, that would make him 39, a good year to retire from the squared circle. Reigns has been a die-hard defender of the WWE, particularly since the debut of All Elite Wrestling, so it should come as no surprise he's sticking around in Titanland. Next up, a female superstar was sent home for drunken behaviour during SummerSlam. Now, whilst Alicia Fox appeared possibly as a legend at the Raw Reunion show recently, she hasn't been on good terms with behavioural issues backstage, and it's likely been a result of not knowing when to put down the bottle. You might recall after WrestleMania 34, Fox was involved in a verbal altercation with Ronda Rousey's husband Travis Browne, calling Browne rude before storming off. Fox was reportedly seen at various bars throughout the day, so it's very possible alcohol was the cause of her outburst, as Travis Browne noted that he was caught off guard by the situation. More recently, Fox turned up intoxicated and in no state to perform, and consequently, since Fox's road agent Arn Anderson gave her the green light to perform, he was ultimately responsible, and this led to his dismissal from the company after working there for 17 years. Anderson later clarified that he had no idea she was intoxicated at the time, believing she acted no differently than her usual self. Fox may have been disciplined by not being given any television time for several months. She hasn't wrestled since April, mind you, so has half the roster, but this is unconfirmed. Fox was present backstage at SummerSlam this weekend, and rumours started to surface of her drinking heavily and being involved in another altercation with a fan and sent home. Twitter user Casey Michael tweeted, "So disappointed in a certain female wrestler on the main roster." He further tweeted, "Allegedly, Alicia Fox was a drunk mess over the week, trying to confirm what exactly went down. Very sad, hope she gets the help she needs." Again he further tweeted, "Hearing she was sent home after a quote-unquote incident, something happened with a fan. Either a fight or just them yelling at one another and someone had to intervene in the situation." Brad Shepard has also noted on his podcast that Fox's behaviour has been, not in his words, pretty loopy and needs rehab bad. He mentioned on the podcast, "According to a source in WWE, Alicia Fox was pretty loopy. Those aren't my words, by the way, but that's how she was described over SummerSlam weekend and needs rehab bad." Again, not my words, but according to a source in WWE, Alicia Fox was pretty loopy over SummerSlam weekend and needs rehab bad. Hopefully Fox is getting the treatment she needs, and we may see a wrestling return down the line. Our next story looks at Lars Sullivan, and it seems he'll be out for a year. Muscleman Lars Sullivan enjoyed a monster push following his post-WrestleMania 35 debut, despite controversial comments from his past surfacing to threaten his career. Sullivan weathered that storm, but a knee injury turned out to be more serious than originally thought, and the WWE's Freak is expected to be on the shelf until summer next year. The latest update on Lars Sullivan is that he is expected to return during the summer of 2020. Believe it or not, someone asked me, which is why I'm doing an update. That's the latest on Lars Sullivan if you're a fan of his. WWE could build him back and insert him into the main event, but his injury seems like a huge blow to his promising career. Our next story looks at a rumoured Clash of Champions main event. The classic WCW Clash of Champions pay-per-view is back in 2019, as we haven't seen it since 2017, and it airs on 15th September. There have been no confirmed matches other than a wrestler being crowned King of the Ring, as the finals will take place on the pay-per-view. It's highly likely most matches will follow the fallout from Summerslam, predictably a rematch between Kofi Kingston and the Viper Randy Orton, as well as another Kevin Owens vs Shane McMahon match. One rematch we most certainly won't see is another Universal Championship match between the Beast Brock Lesnar and the Beast Slayer Seth Rollins. Now, it seems like Rollins will be getting a new challenger, and WWE teased it during the closing segment on Monday Night Raw this week. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio via Cage Side Seats, Seth Rollins vs Braun Strowman is WWE's current plan for the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions next month. This is interesting as WWE never likes to put a face versus face dynamic as a main event. Does it mean one of them will turn heel before the pay-per-view? We hope so, and we hope it's Seth Rollins. The babyface shtick is getting old. Our next story looks at Brock Lesnar being confirmed for Smackdown. Now, there have been rumours ever since WWE Smackdown deal was made public that Fox wanted big stars like Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey to appear on Smackdown. Well, it seems that Fox may have half gotten what they wanted, as advertisements for Smackdown on Fox indicated that Brock Lesnar will be appearing on its debut show, celebrating 20 years of Smackdown. The official Twitter for the Staples Center listed a number of legends and tweeted, WWE superstars past and present will be on hand to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Smackdown Live, including Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Lita, Mick Foley, Booker T, Hulk Hogan, Trish Stratus, Goldberg, Jerry Lawler, Mark Henry, Ric Flair and Sting. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 AM. Since he lost the Universal title at SummerSlam, there's not much Lesnar can do on Raw, so it's likely we won't see him until the show. Who should he feud on SmackDown with? Will they be building a match between him and Kofi Kingston for Survivor Series? Next up, Evolution 2 and a final send-off for one female wrestler. 28th October 2018 marked WWE's first ever all-female pay-per-view Evolution, with both Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella doing battle for the Raw Women's Championship in the main event. However, due to the uncertainty of Ronda Rousey's future in WWE, they held off any confirmation of a sequel show. But even with no sign of Ronda Rousey coming back to the WWE, and with Banks returning and new tag team belts being introduced, insiders report that the company has revisited the idea of another Evolution pay-per-view. Pro wrestling journalist Tom Colohue recently reported, "Talks never really ended, but they were always brief. Some people were fiercely for it, but the logistics didn't iron out. Things are looking very different now. People higher up are starting to listen." He also added, sources believe that over the course of the year, the appetite for another Evolution pay-per-view has increased. One wrestler that is rumoured to have a farewell match soon is Lita, who started her wrestling career all the way back in 1998. What matches would you like to see for Evolution 2? In all honesty, this would be a perfect pay-per-view for a Sasha vs Bayley match. And our last story today looks at whether The Fiend is being censored by WWE. Fans who missed SummerSlam and heard about the Fiend Bray Wyatt's ghoulish ring entrance, including his creep-tastic severed head lantern prop, went to YouTube to check it out, only to learn that it has been censored. Ringside News reported that the WWE initially uploaded a video of the whole entrance, complete with close-up lantern shot, but then they deleted it an hour later and immediately replaced it. Ringside News noted the difference in the new video which was uploaded, saying WWE edited out Bray Wyatt's human head lantern for some reason. The original video that aired live on the WWE network featured a very good close-up of the head which you can see below. For some reason it made some wide shots, but the close-up it didn't make the YouTube cut. The WWE also deleted the Fiend's Titantron video, which immediately led to speculation that the WWE was dialing down the ghastlier elements of the Fiend's character. However, during a recent edition of the Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez reported, "All I can tell you is I've asked several people about this and nobody heard anything about the lantern not being a part of the act. In fact, one person told me, I guess it's going to be part of his whatever you call it, action figure or whatever they're producing these lanterns." So anyway, I think everyone's reading too much into this, but I mean, we'll know soon enough. If he shows up again with no head lantern, we'll know, but I wouldn't be writing it off yet. It was strange that the WWE didn't follow up on an appearance of The Fiend or Bray Wyatt on Monday Night Raw, but why you ask? Well, it seems as WWE is smartly limiting his appearances in a bid to increase his mystique, and interestingly, he might be one of the few superstars to appear on both Raw and SmackDown, not being exclusive to one single brand. Mind you, that's half of the roster nowadays. Brad Shepard recently commented on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast that the idea to keep the Fiend off Raw was to build mystique for his character, but really also the beginning toward the soft pullback for the brand split. They now see Bray as a potential draw to the Smackdown show, which will be a focus. As we discussed yesterday, Bray Wyatt's merchandise sold extremely well at Summerslam, so it will be interesting to see whether the severed head lantern remains and how they're going to use him going on. Could Bray Wyatt end up in the title picture immediately as they now know how much of a big draw he can be? Let us know in the comments down below on who his next feud should be. As always, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.